welcome back to Save File Stories and to another episode of Survival of the Fittest. We're going back to our little colony here, our settlement of, as we get it pulled up here, Vorus's Beach. We now have 11 contestants in our game here. As you may remember from the last episode, Star Raka, or as I like to call it, the Raka Star, did pass away from blood loss along with a few other complications, including malnourishment as we are going through a period of starvation. So let's jump right back into it. Alright, so the funeral has ended and they are going back. I think the majority of the people are going to eat some food, unfortunately raw human meat, and a few cooked meals, and almost immediately somebody is wanting to dig up our friend. So let's go ahead and see how that goes. Looks like Meso is going to try to calm her down. Let's see what kind words he gives her to try to help calm her down. Chat about savory foods. No, not the best time. What are you even worried about? Probably worried about food. Don't take notes from Meso, or I should say, take note, don't be like Meso. Definitely somebody who is not the best for dealing with your corpse obsession, especially when he's just going to go right back to sleep afterwards. Giddy, you go ahead and bury him again. Alright, so I guess until we tell this to not include corpses of our colonists, they will decide to store him there as opposed to bury him. But even at that point, looks like they're not really interested in burying him. I don't think I've dealt with this situation before, where they absolutely refuse to bury someone. I can't tell what's wrong here. Or human-like. Oh my goodness. Just not stranger or slave. Alright, so after a little while trying to get this body back into the ground, we can't seem to do it for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. They're even willing to pick up this body over here, or haul it to over here, but they're not willing to bury him. I cannot figure it out. Maybe there's something else that I'm missing, but yeah, at the moment, I think we're going to be eating Rockstar. Rest in peace in our bellies. And looks like we're actually able to have a second funeral for him, since now we have no body. Might as well, I guess, if it makes them happy. I do think it'll be really interesting to watch as we have the first group that's going to come and visit us, and they're gonna wonder where we get all this human leather from. Maybe we should make sheets out of it just for the guests. There'll be some new level of horror, I think. And as you may remember from the last episode, we do have a few weapons that were dropped. Not many. It looks like we have mostly this LMG. And I think we're going to have to find a way to randomly assign this. Definitely can't do it based off of shooting skill, since it's all going to be more or less the same. So let's see if we can find out. Maybe first come, first serve. And it looks like Kat could have made it if she wasn't crazy. We have a huge crowd in here, and it looks like Lori is the winner. So Lori's going to get the gun. But we do have a SMG, and I'm going to give that to Meso. If we get any other weapons coming up, we'll let anyone who has a revolver still be able to pick those up. And looking over here, it looks like we actually have some crops growing. Now that we got rid of that pesky monkey and dog that was eating our crops all the time, it looks like we actually might get some food to help with these starving citizens. We're already down to 2 meals again. And with that, we may be interested in harvesting this one last ancient danger. Although it didn't work out very well for the last person who died, it may still be worth it. Yeah, unfortunately, we have 2 people down, and they're likely not going to get up if they don't heal in time with the food that they have, because we're going to run out of food. It does look like, generally speaking, tensions are still really high. We already have somebody starving once again, Zack, our party animal. And we have the lowest mood award going to Cali for having to butcher 5 people and eating human meat, and yet still being hungry. I think that's much worse than the things that they were complaining about before of eating without a table and sleeping on the ground, although Cali is still doing that. Alright, looks like Cali did get angry, and hopefully he's going to calm down now that he's setting fire everywhere. Not this again, come on. I don't remember him doing this before. Maybe they have some history together. Let's see. Oh, well, yeah, I think that if my ex-lover came up to me and said, not this again, that would probably not calm me down either. So, understandable that he's still going around and setting fire, as long as he doesn't light fire to our crops again, because we had that earlier with the mech that was over here. Definitely want that. And what is this over here? Looks like some of our colonists have already started giving up. They're moving some rocks around to spell a SOS. Nice try, buddies, but we're not going to be letting you guys go. You signed up for this. We have it in the contract. So, nice try, but no. Alright, and now we have Harris throwing a fit. Now going to destroy the components. Looks like probably because we're running low on medicine and they're realizing that they can't keep on breaking the medicine that we have left. Now we're down to 21 medicine and 18 components. Not sure if we'll even reach point, though we'll use those components at this point, but if we end up needing them at some point, hopefully we'll have what we need at that. Alright, I don't think they're going to last much longer. They're already hungry. So we're going to try round 2 of finding some food. Bringing everyone over here. We're going to start raiding Cali with an exception. And go get the revolver again. Okay. Now everybody here is the remaining bit that can stand. Is going to go ahead and try to break down this this wall. Let's see what we find inside. Yes, alright, so Zack is already having malnutrition of 80%, so they better find something in here. Alright, they're already finding 3 mechs, looks like. So they're going to have to spread out and hopefully be able to get through here. And immediately have 3 people that they're going to need to kill. I need to kill some strong weapons. Most of them down. It looks like we are taking a few hits though across the board. Let's see what the damage is. We have Harris about to die in 7 hours. But like a total of 6 people were shot in some capacity. So hopefully we get some of those wounds dressed up and we don't lose anyone. But let's just see. Alright, and Acevedo doing the job that we know somebody has to do. Immediately butchering these dead bodies. And we have Harris collapsing over there. Let's see if I can get some sort of doctor over there to help him out. Alright, and there goes Giddy again, going ahead and lighting fire at everything that we hold dear. The remaining medicine for all these people who are actively bleeding. And this is going to really heat up this room. There was some meat in here, but it looks like before it was even cooked, people have already eaten it. Not a great sign. We'll see what happens. Meso is already down. And with that, I think we're losing more and more what chefs we have who are able to actually do something here. Alright, Lori is taking care of Harris real quick, who is dying, so go ahead and let her finish that up before going ahead and making some more meat. And just like that, Meso has also got an infection in his leg that nobody's gone over to help him get back up. Let's see if we can get Cat to come over and help. And make that 2 infections. That's not looking great for him. It looks like Giddy here is not even going to wait for the body to be chopped up before feeding it to one of the injured. And just like that, Zack is actually wasn't fed in time. Everybody else prioritized just almost anybody else. Even Lori is starting to have a difficult time with the religion and is now wandering around. I think that she was the last person who was able to cook. Acevedo is also going through a daze. We have Meso down, and yeah. So maybe we can get Smelly. No, she is also incapable of doing that right now. Horne. She's going to have to butcher what she can. Which unfortunately I think is going to have to be Zack here in a second. We will definitely be remembering Zack for his crude comments of making sure that everybody knows how good of a miner he was. So be sure to include that in the eulogy, even though apparently he's never even heard of it. And just like that, Zack is helping others not have to suffer what he did. In particular Horne, because apparently there was not any more meat besides that, and Horne is consuming him now. And so is the last of Zack. We may go ahead and have that funeral. Death is a path towards dignity. She has thoughts on celebrating the next step. And has thoughts on death and family. And people hated that. Not an interesting funeral. So, not looking good here. We are now down to 10 contestants. Harris, what is that? Carrillo, Smelly, Cali, Acevedo, Cat, Horne, Meso, Giddy, and Lori. Definitely put in your votes to let us know who you think will make it out alive. And they're so close. The rice plants are actually about to be harvested. I wouldn't be surprised if they eat raw rice by the time it's ready, though. At least Acevedo has helped Smelly realize that it wasn't actually her fault. I can't remember what she was actually upset about. Wouldn't be surprised if it has to do with the food situation or the fact that they had to eat people. But at least now she knows that it wasn't her fault. And now she has 2 catharsis, which is the only reason anyone here would be happier than not on the brink of going crazy. At this point as well, without proper food, it looks like Meso may be the next one who passes away. We would be able to amputate the leg, but even then, looks like the torso may be infected too much. Let's watch the rate here. Alright, so maybe about 1.3 immunity per 1% of infection. That may make it out, actually. So we'll go ahead and schedule the surgery for the leg. That is, if we have a doctor available for it, and we do. Alright, operate away. Oh gosh, we have lost another contestant We may try to get her back by feeding her like she's an animal, but right now she's decided to live like the animals, which you know what we do with those. So, unfortunately, she may be tamed or hunted at this point. I'm not even sure what we'll do. We'll try to avoid hunting her as long as we can, especially since we have some crops, and maybe we'll be able to tame her. We'll try taming for now. And never mind, it looks like she's going to go straight to just eating our crops herself. And the surgery for Meso has failed. We'll try one more time, but it's not looking great for him either. Alright, and the leg is off. Of course, he still needs to survive that other infection. It looks like he may be able to pull through. Depends on how well he gets tended to next. We do have a binge of drugs and another fire starting spree. Looks like that seems to be a pretty common way of dealing with your emotions in this community. Harris is just Harris and Laura are taking turns to just one by one just get rid of the fire that Cali's placing in the building, and we now have an overdoser. Oh man, things are going bad. Lori is able to do some more reassurance, counseling, and preach health. So I think we're going to find whoever is the worst, which I think is Meso, and do some preach health to him. Interestingly, the preaching doesn't actually give us a little speech bubble, so we don't know what she said. We can only imagine. Maybe she just whispered in his ear kind things. Thank you, Lori. And Acevedo is going to let Horne know that this too will pass. Horne does not believe her. She is actively overdosing, so I think, yeah, a little difficult to believe that at the time. And I think with everything here, great medicine, a great place to sleep, and this preach health, I think that Meso is actually going to pull through. We'll reward him with a better gun once he gets back up. Okay, without any better medicine though, he did get treated with a 14%, so that may bring him back down. Hopefully they can do better. And just like that, well, I was going to say that we have rice now for the community, but it looks like that was not enough for Meso. I did not even realize that was also going to be a problem, but Meso has died from malnutrition. And with that, he lost his lung, he lost his leg. Meso is now out of the race, which is a bummer because I think that's the first pawn here that I was really expecting to pull through towards the end. I thought he was going to be one of the best ones. Maybe not for anything else other than it was just really great to have somebody who can do cooking and construction. He just seemed really helpful all around. I didn't expect him to be the one to go down because of malnutrition. So it is. I think we'll do the same as we do with all the other ones, which is to butcher and say that we put his ashes in the grave, which everybody knows we did not actually do. And Horne, after butchering him, ate his meat and is now food poisoned, while also being high on go juice and yayo and psychite tea. Having a rough time there, Horne. But thank goodness we finally have some rice. Everyone is eating it as soon as it comes out. And this, depending on how soon we get the other crops growing, I don't know how long this rice is going to last, although we're going to have the potato plants coming up again. We did plant some more rice down here that looks like it's going to be ready soon, and we did try to go ahead and start down here. So depending on how good these people are at getting these crops up, we may have to not worry about food anymore, which would be a nice change of pace, being that we only have 7 colonists, maybe 8 if we get to tame Carrillo again. Let's find out. But luckily she hasn't stripped nude. She's just wandering around. I'm not really sure what the point of going back to nature was. Well, although she did just eat all our crops, so I guess that's fair. She's probably eating better than anyone else here. And now that nobody's starving, we'll go ahead and honor the dead. Looks like we can actually have another one for Zack, so I think we will, if not for any other reason than to help them feel better. So, here we are again, talking about beginning and endings, the path to dignity. There is life after death, nobility and sacrifice. And lore believes that there is life and joy. And we're interrupted with our first raid, which, oh my goodness, we have furries. Which I think at this point would be kind of welcome. It's the closest thing to not human meat as you can get, I think, while still butchering humans. So we'll go ahead and finish up this funeral, and then we're gonna gun up. Alright, celebrating the next step, aka loading up. Harris apparently does not have a weapon. We'll go ahead and have him get that, but everyone else is going to line up. It looks like they were still happy with funeral over here, so that's good, and hopefully pretty soon we'll be able to start make some changes to the religion. I'm hoping to make them happy to be cannibals. I think that'll make a big difference for them. Here they are. Looks like we were a little slow to get down there. Alright, we shot down Mule. There's Nitro, and I don't think we can afford to not collect that food, so hurry on down there. Actually, I don't think anyone is well enough to be able to catch up to him. Let's see. 8, 9. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and let some of our weaker party members go ahead and do other things while we have these three try to track down this remaining body. Living person. That hopefully won't be living anymore. Alright, shots are fired. Nothing hit so far. Hopefully we'll get something. Just like that. And that was needed. We don't need anyone buried. I can guarantee that. I believe this is for, let's see, human-like. Let's do colonists only. Not that we'll actually use all these graves now. It looks like we're just going to be eating our colonists for the sake of survival. But we don't want to be burying anyone else that we might butcher either. Look at that. This wild woman is still able to use our doors and come in and eat our food. So, again, I don't know what the point of becoming a wild woman was if she's really just going to be a bum eating the community's food. Maybe that's her tactic. Maybe she'll be coming in and be one of the final contestants. Who knows? Maybe Carrillo will be, one of the top. Let's find out how that tactic works for her long term. Or we even have Lori tempting her with some human meat. That did not work too well. Horne fell down. It's not really clear why, other than, oh, here we go. Food poisoning. That does actually make more sense. Does look like she's still high though on the plethora of drugs that she found. Oh my gosh, that's a soothe pulser. I think we're gonna need that actually. Try to find someone who's in good spirits and healthy that can go down there and collect that. Boop. All right. With that, we should have some happier people. Not Horne, apparently, although she's already gotten better. But hopefully we'll get over this whole butcher people, have to eat people thing, and we can move on and be happier people here. And just like that, there's so much rice that has been collected. 221. Now in retrospect, I can see that we have a ritual of animal sacrifice, which also means that we were supposed to keep an animal that is at least a certain size to be able to sacrifice. So again, just an inconvenient part of living in the extreme desert. But I suppose that these people are used to disappointment. Yeah, we'll have to find another way to make some good friends. Alright, I think that these people have endured enough that they now deserve a real bedroom. Albeit a bedroom with all 8 of them being crammed in there together. Added one more bed just in case we do get our little wild lady tamed again. We'll see what happens there. It could be our first tame. There she is, sleeping in the mines. Yeah, crazy cave lady that she is. So I was looking around and I noticed that somebody had dropped their pants on the ground. I was a little confused, and then I remember the wild lady that's out there in the wilderness. She has already taken off the armor that she had as well. So getting pretty full on wild. One with nature. But not too one with nature to not sneak into the pantry and eat our food anyways. Look at this, we actually have our first guests. I'm not entirely sure where we'll place them, but we'll find a spot. Assure safety, they are visitors from the Tranlomi Confederacy. Okay, some tribal people. I hope that they weren't planning on buying any food here, because we're not selling. But who knows? We might be able to find something else to sell them just to get some more of the money. Here we go. Human leather bed rolls. I'm sure they would love that. We're looking for people to come back, as you can tell. I'll be surprised if they stay the night, but they probably will. And actually, it looks like they don't really care. In fact, from the words of Tona here, it's a free bed. My bed was free, so I can't complain. You got that right. Human leather or not. This is great bedroll. What is it made from? Leather. Bro Regal? He's not taking any chances. He'd rather sleep in the hospital. Human revenge. Okay, after a failed taming attempt, Carrillo is actually now attacking Acevedo. So she's gonna have to defend herself. And see if we can get somebody else in there to help her out. At this point, I'm going to treat Carrillo as any other threat. Okay. So she's not dead. To get close. Alright, Lori's a doctor of sorts. We'll go ahead and have her rescue Carrillo. Maybe she'll be grateful for once and come back to join the colony. Harris seems to be dealing with the fact that they butchered human-like. Man, once we change their religion to be cannibals, they won't be upset as much. Actually, maybe we can sell these pants. Alright, everybody seems to be in poor moods. Minus Giddy for some reason. Oh, he recently went crazy. Makes sense. So we're going to have one last funeral. This one for Meso. Rest in peace. And hopefully this will get us all in a good mood. What does Lori have to say? She explained celebrating the next step. Talked again about life and death. Path to dignity. Death and family. She talks about what happens after death. We all know. Vorus. Acevedo has now decided to also run wild. Shoot. So I think that means, yeah, we have 2 wild women roaming the lands. I think she was the best one at taming too, so she was actually the hope of taming Carrillo before she went crazy. Maybe Smelly can... Smelly? Who's the next best? Giddy. Giddy will have to make do in taming these two. But we need to celebrate the next step, Lori continues. And she gives her thoughts on the beginnings and the endings, the concept of good life. And now we have someone else going on a go juice binge. Oh boy, this is turning out to be a terrible funeral. And death is a path to dignity. Alright, you know what? Oh, somebody else went into a catatonic state. Oh gosh. That funeral was so good. 3 people went crazy during it. But everyone else is going to be pretty happy, I think. Let's see. They get a decent boost, I would say. So they got 2 good funerals. I think until they can get over the whole eating and chopping up humans, I think they're going to be upset for a while. Let's see what we've got. Doesn't look like we actually got any perks as far as upgrading our religion here. So that's gonna have to wait. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Who knows? Maybe we can get a Acevedo and Carrillo to make a comeback. Will Harris and Horne get back and help out with our society? Will Lori continue to make herself the true leader of this group? And will Smelly ever wake up from her deep slumber that she has now thrown herself into? Currently, we are standing at a potential final 6, depending on what happens to Smelly and the other 2 who went crazy. So put it in the comments. Who do you think is going to be the next one to go? How do you think that they're going to go? And who will be the last one standing? Extra points to if you're the one to get any of those right, the first one to get any of those right. I will be including as a name for the colonists in the next run, so be sure to add that. Alright, take care, Pawns. Bye.